The galaxy was quiet, or at least it seemed quiet to humans. Stars shone like distant lanterns across the black void, and most humans went about their lives without thinking about the vast darkness between worlds. But the Xylar Dominion, a massive alien empire, thought they ruled all that darkness. They believed no one could resist them, not even a species as young as humanity. In the Xylar Emperor's chamber, high above the swirling clouds of a gas giant, the council gathered. The room was wide and cold, filled with polished metal and shimmering lights. The Emperor, a tall being with green eyes and long claws, stood at the center. He spoke with a voice that echoed like rolling thunder. "We have discovered a species called humans. They are weak, primitive. They will join our empire or they will die." The councilors nodded, showing respect and fear. None had ever questioned the Emperor. None had ever seen a species like humans resist before. "Prepare the fleets," the Emperor ordered. "We will crush them before they even reach the stars. They will know the power of the Xylar." Far away in the human part of the galaxy, life went on as usual. On Earth, in the command center of United Earth Command, officers worked quietly at their stations. The screens showed distant star systems and small twinkling colonies. General Ethan Cole, a man in his 50s with short brown hair and a steady voice, leaned back in his chair. A message had arrived, intercepted by human intelligence. The message declared that the Xylar Dominion had decided to go to war. Ethan read it and set the paper down. He did not frown. He did not panic. "Well," he said quietly, "they finally noticed us." His aide, Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, looked confused. "Sir, should we alert the fleets? Should we? This is war." Ethan smiled faintly. "We've been ready for war for a long time. This isn't new. The only surprise is that they are late." In the Situation Room, a large holographic map of the galaxy spun slowly. Dots of light showed human colonies, many of them barely known even to most humans. But each dot hid secret defenses, fleets, and weapons far beyond what the Xylar imagined. Humans had been preparing quietly, without fanfare, for decades. No one outside Earth had noticed. Humans liked it that way. At the United Earth Council, President Laura McKinney sat at a long table. She was calm, her gray hair tied in a neat bun, her eyes sharp. The councilors argued quietly about what to do. Some wanted to launch preemptive strikes. Some wanted to send messages begging for peace. Laura listened, sipping tea. "They think we are afraid," she said finally. "Let them come. They will learn the truth soon enough." Meanwhile, in the Xylar home systems, preparations moved faster than light. Ships were fueled, weapons charged, and soldiers trained. The Xylar were confident. They had fought countless civilizations and destroyed them in days. Humans, they thought, would be the same. Back in the human colonies near Proxima, life continued without much change. Commander Daniel Ross stood on the deck of his small command ship, watching the stars. The sensors had picked up Xylar ships moving in the distance. He looked at his crew, a group of men and women who had trained all their lives for moments like this. "Keep calm," he said. "We've seen worse." The crew nodded. They were not afraid. Humans had survived famine, plagues, and wars on Earth that no Xylar could imagine. They knew how to face danger without panic. As the first Xylar ships appeared near Proxima, they broadcast messages in booming voices. "Humans, surrender or be destroyed." "Your resistance is pointless," Daniel chuckled softly. "They really don't understand us, do they?" The human ships did not retreat, but they did not attack either. They moved with precision, their positions already planned. The Xylar sensors could not track them properly. Humans used stealth and speed in ways the aliens had never seen. Back on Earth, the news channels showed the incoming war fleets as just another border incident. "Colonies report unidentified ships," one anchor said casually. "Authorities are monitoring the situation. No panic, no alarm." Humans were calm because they had the tools, the training, and the discipline to handle threats far bigger than they. On Proxima 4, a small human colony, people went about their daily routines. Children played in the streets, merchants sold food, and farmers tended to their small plots of land. None of them knew that alien fleets were approaching. That was how humans liked it. They prepared in secret, but they lived openly, with confidence. The Xylar Emperor watched the progress reports from his throne. He frowned. Reports said humans had already mobilized their fleets before the Xylar even arrived. He could not believe it. "They move too fast," he said to his advisors. "How can they anticipate our every move?" One counselor, a tall, thin Xylar named Varn, whispered, "They are primitive, yet efficient. Perhaps not weak, my emperor, the emperor roared. Silence. They are weak. Any being that grows in less than 1,000 cycles is weak. They will fail. But the first signs of failure appeared faster than he expected. Small human ships emerged from hidden positions and struck at Xylar scouting vessels. Within hours, several Xylar ships were disabled or destroyed. The humans moved as one, coordinated and precise. Ethan Cole watched the reports in real time. He did not celebrate. He did not cheer. He simply nodded. Just as we planned, he said. President McKinney, observing from her office, leaned back in her chair. We don't need to destroy them all, she said. We just need to show them that war with humans is not easy. The Xylar fleets, arrogant and massive, continued their approach, expecting an easy victory. Their weapons were powerful, their numbers overwhelming. But humans fought differently. Humans thought, adapted and coordinated in ways the aliens could not predict. Every attack was met with a counterattack, but it was never loud or chaotic. It was clean, silent, and precise. On Proxima 9, Commander Daniel Ross watched as his crew executed maneuvers that even the Xylar could not understand. Target the plasma cannons, he ordered quietly. Take out their shields first. Use drones after. No mistakes. Minutes later, several enemy ships were drifting without power, their crews stunned. No humans shouted. No one celebrated. They moved on to the next target as if it were just another exercise. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, news of the human resistance spread slowly. Xylar species whispered among themselves. How can a species so young be so strong? They asked. They are not afraid. They do not rage. How do they fight like this? On Earth, civilians barely noticed. Life went on. Children went to school. Farmers planted their fields. Artists painted. Sports matches continued. Humans understood danger, but they also understood that fear gave nothing. The Xylar Emperor was furious. He had never seen a species fight with such calm. His fleet commanders begged for reinforcements, but the humans had already anticipated their movements. Every strategy the Xylar tried failed. Ethan Cole sat in his command chair, reviewing reports from multiple colonies. They are learning too fast, he said, and we are just warming up. In the Xylar home systems, panic began to grow among the ranks. Ships were destroyed, fleets scattered, and communications jammed. The Emperor could not believe what he was seeing. He had faced thousands of civilizations, and none had survived more than a day against his fleets. Humans were not just surviving, they were outsmarting them. In the quiet of space, the humans moved like shadows. Stealth drones disabled ships silently. Railguns fired from hidden positions. No human ship was lost. They did not scream. They did not panic. They executed every plan with discipline. At United Earth Command, the officers barely looked at the screens. They were used to this. They had trained for decades for the moment when aliens thought they could invade. Humans were not afraid. Humans never had been. The first day of war ended with the Xylar fleet scattered and weakened. The aliens had thought they would conquer humans in hours. Instead, they had lost more ships than they had ever lost against any other species. And still, humans did not celebrate. Ethan Cole leaned back in his chair. They'll send more tomorrow, he said calmly. And we'll be ready. President McKinney smiled quietly. They think we fear them. Let them keep thinking. And somewhere in the void, the Xylar Emperor stared at the stars, realizing for the first time that humans were nothing like any species he had ever known. They were young, yes. Small in numbers, yes. But they were calm, clever, and deadly in ways no one had expected. The galaxy was changing, but the humans hardly cared. They were just being themselves, and that was enough. The next day, the Xylar fleets moved faster and in larger numbers. They wanted to show their strength. Thousands of ships glowed as they slipped through space toward human colonies near Proxima and Vega. Their weapons glimmered like deadly stars, and their commanders believed victory was close. Commander Daniel Ross watched the sensors carefully on his small command ship. His crew, a mix of men and women from different colonies, moved quietly. No one panicked. No one shouted. Humans had trained for this, and training made them calm. Daniel leaned back and sipped his coffee. They are coming, he said softly. And they are about to be disappointed. The Xylar opened the first attack. Plasma beams fired across space, meant to destroy the human colonies before they could react. Their ships moved in formation, confident and precise. They believed no human fleet could stop them, but humans were ready. From hidden positions, human drones appeared. They moved silently, too fast for the Xylar sensors. They fired with pinpoint accuracy. Several Xylar ships were disabled before they could even raise shields. On Earth, United Earth Command monitored the battle. General Ethan Cole sat in his chair, calm as ever. "No losses yet," he said. "Good, keep it that way." He tapped the console. Reports arrived from dozens of colonies. Humans had positioned ships in hidden patterns. Every enemy move was anticipated. Meanwhile, President Laura McKinney watched the situation from her office. She smiled faintly as she looked at the live feeds. "They are going to learn the hard way," she said. "We do not fight like others. We fight to win, not to boast." The first Xylar fleet panicked. Their commanders had never seen a species that could strike so fast, disappear, and strike again without warning. Ships were being destroyed faster than they could repair or respond. "This is impossible," shouted one Xylar officer. "How can they move like this?" "They are only humans." Daniel Ross watched quietly. "Humans are small," he told his second-in-command, Lieutenant Kara Bell. "But they are smart. That is all that matters." Kara nodded. The human ships did not just fire at the enemy. They disabled engines, broke communications, and captured key ships without killing anyone if possible. Humans fought efficiently. They used precision, strategy, and patience. It was not chaos. It was methodical. On Vega 9, the colony population barely noticed the battle above their heads. Shops opened, schools ran, and people continued with their daily lives. The military had prepared safe zones and automated defenses. Humans did not need to panic. They had always relied on skill, not fear. The Xylar Emperor received updates from his admirals. The reports were horrifying. Entire fleets were gone. His elite ships were damaged. "These humans," he growled, claws gripping the armrest of his throne. "They are stronger than we believed. Prepare the Emperor's armada. They will pay for this." On the human side, Admiral Amanda Lewis, fleet commander at United Earth Command, reviewed the situation. She was calm. A woman in her 40s with silver streaks in her hair and eyes that missed nothing. "They expect chaos," she said to her officers. "We give them silence. Prepare the next strike pattern. Predict them before they act." The Xylar launched their elite ships, massive vessels with shields stronger than anything humans had. They believed this would turn the tide. But humans had already analyzed their technology. The human fleet used small, fast ships to disable the shields with microdrones. The Xylar weapons could not fire fast enough, and many ships were trapped. Back on Proxima 4, Daniel Ross ordered his crew to release additional drone swarms. They moved in perfect coordination, disabling Xylar weapons and engines in minutes. The aliens were shocked. Their attacks failed one after another, and human ships remained untouched. The Xylar began to panic. Admiral Korovak, known as the conqueror of dozens of civilizations, shouted orders, but the humans anticipated each one. Each time he ordered a new maneuver, his ships were trapped. "They are everywhere," he screamed into the communication line. "Impossible. How can they fight like this?" Daniel Ross smiled faintly. "They are learning," he said, "but not fast enough." Meanwhile, Earth remained calm. Citizens went about their day. People had learned to trust their military and their leaders. Schools taught children survival skills and critical thinking. They had faith that humans could face anything. The Xylar tried something new. They broadcast a message across the colonies, hoping to scare humans. "Surrender now. Your resistance is futile. You will die." Daniel read the message aloud to his crew. "They think words can scare us," he said. "Let's show them the truth." The human fleet moved silently. Drones disabled communication arrays on Xylar ships, so their messages would not reach other fleets. Then railguns fired from hidden positions, taking out enemy weapons and engines. The Xylar ships could not escape. Some Xylar tried to fight back, but their attacks were slow and uncoordinated. They had expected panic from humans, but humans were calm, precise, and fearless. Every plan the Xylar had failed. Across the galaxy, other humans watched reports with mild interest. Colonies far from the battle sent resources to help, not because they feared the Xylar, but because it was their duty. Humans worked together. They did not need fear to motivate them. The Xylar Emperor raged. His empire, once thought unstoppable, was falling in just a few hours. He could not understand it. Every fleet he sent was destroyed or disabled. "How can they do this?" he roared. "They are only humans." On Vega 9, Commander Ross prepared for the next wave. His crew was ready. They had trained for this for years. Humans did not need to panic. They had tactics, technology, and courage. Most importantly, they had patience. The Xylar sent reinforcements larger and more dangerous than before. But humans anticipated this too. Using advanced sensors and stealth technology, they struck the enemy before they reached the colonies. Xylar ships were destroyed quietly, efficiently, with no human casualties. The aliens could not believe what they saw. Their fleets were being destroyed without chaos, without noise, and without fear. Humans were not just strong. They were smart. They adapted instantly, used every resource, and never wasted effort. Daniel Ross looked at his crew. "Remember," he said, "we do not fight for glory. We fight to protect our people. Everything else is secondary." Carabelle nodded. "They won't give up easily," she said. "They will not," Daniel agreed. "But neither will we." The Xylar began to realize they were not facing a normal species. Humans did not panic. Humans did not flee. Humans fought with calm and precision that no alien had ever seen. Reports of their tactics spread quickly across the Empire. Other alien races whispered in fear. "The humans, they do not act like others," they said. "They are different. They are dangerous." On Earth, the military celebrated quietly. There were no parades, no loud announcements, just calm acknowledgement of success. Humans understood that war was serious. Victory was important, but pride and arrogance could be dangerous. The first full-scale attack by the Xylar ended in failure. Thousands of their ships were gone. Their commanders were stunned. Their emperor was furious. Humans had not only defended themselves, but had destroyed much of the attacking fleet without losing a single colony. Daniel Ross looked at the screens, showing distant fleets drifting in silence. "They'll come again," he said. Admiral Lewis replied from United Earth Command. "Let them. They will find humans are not easy to scare, not easy to destroy, and not easy to defeat. We will be ready every time." The Xylar Emperor sat on his throne, angry and confused. His empire, powerful for centuries, had never faced a species like humans. They were small, yes. Young, yes. But they fought differently. They used brains more than rage, strategy more than strength. And most importantly, they were fearless in the face of impossible odds. Humans, meanwhile, returned to their routines. Colonies repaired minor damage. Citizens worked. Children played. People lived. War was present, but it was not the center of their lives. That was their strength. They did not allow fear to control them. They did not allow arrogance to blind them. They fought and they lived. By the end of the day, the Xylar fleets were in retreat. Their commanders sent messages to the Emperor, describing the humans as unpredictable, efficient, and deadly. "We cannot win like this," they wrote. "We must reconsider." Ethan Cole read the reports calmly. He leaned back. "They'll send more," he said. President McKinney smiled. "And we will meet them. Like always. Humans do not fear. Humans endure. Humans win." The galaxy, for a moment, learned something new. Humans were not loud, not arrogant, not cruel. They were smart, calm, and capable beyond what anyone expected. The Xylar would learn it the hard way again and again, and the humans hardly cared. They were just being themselves, and that was more than enough.